a MAGA Republican senator who publicly expressed some doubts about Pete Hegseth, a former Fox News host who is also Trump's scandal-riddled defense secretary nominee, has apparently been successfully bullied, both publicly and privately, by Trump allies, including Fox News hosts and potentially even Elon Musk. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have several clips to talk about in this video, but I do want to start with Mark Levin, who is a Fox News host. He's a devout MAGA Republican. He is unhinged. This is what he had to say about people like Senator Joni Ernst, who is the MAGA Republican senator we're specifically talking about, as well as Lindsey Graham, for their lack of enthusiastic support for Pete Hegseth.
We cannot allow that to happen. So I, for one, insist that they have a vote. And Joni Ernst and her lobbying campaign and all the rest of it means nothing to me. Zero to me. And Lindsey Graham, who's on 7 sides of 2 issues, that means nothing to me either. Or these other people. It's just outrageous.
So, you have a Fox News host, or a Fox host, a MAGA Fox host at that, publicly expressing what people are talking about in private, and we'll get to the punchline here. But he's very upset at the notion of people like Lindsey Graham or Joni Ernst expressing any sort of misgivings or doubt or skepticism about Pete Hegseth. So we're going to get into Joni Ernst's recent response on this topic because she has done a bit of an about face.
Breaking moments ago, Republican Senator Joni Ernst saying that she will, quote, support President-elect Trump's defense secretary nominee, Pete Hegseth. They had their second meeting today. Senator Ernst is a veteran and a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, so an important supporter during the confirmation process. So we're still kind of parsing her words. It appears that she is saying that she will support Pete Hegseth for defense secretary. Obviously, she is a very important person in this process. He could only lose 3 votes, but as President Trump-elect himself has said, he feels that this is a strong nomination and that ultimately Hegseth will get through this process.
It's true that Trump has doubled down on this, even though Republicans, he could only he can only afford to lose 3 votes in such a relatively close Senate confirmation. Now, a lot of people were counting Hegseth out. I mean, his odds in the betting markets of becoming Senate confirmed plummeted. But I was not ready to throw the towel in. I'm still not ready because I think as a general proposition, betting against Republicans cultishly devoting themselves to Trump is a losing proposition. I think as a matter of probability, you should expect elected Republicans to sycophantically and cultishly devote themselves to Donald Trump, even if it defies, their identity or their principle or their platform or their history. And it seems that that's the case for Joni Ernst. So that's a major roadblock that Hegseth seems to have overcome. Again, we will get to the punchline. We will get to what this may have derived from, but as you can tell from that first clip with Mark Levin, it could be public and private pressure. Spoiler alert, it is. But I want you to see what happened when Joni Ernst was confronted about this by CNN. This is what she had to say.
You said supporting the process. It doesn't sound like you're a yes yet. Is that fair?
I am supporting the process.
Are you confident with denials about those assault allegations? Do you believe those denials?
I'll refer you back to this statement.
The pressure of getting back home and primary politics playing into this?
We have been talking these same issues every meeting that we've had, and he had really thoughtful answers.
So, that was Joni Ernst. Again, I think trying to walk as much of a tightrope as she possibly can, because she doesn't want to be seen as overtly defiant of Donald Trump. This was her official statement on the matter. I appreciate Pete Hegseth's responsiveness and the respect for the process. Following our encouraging conversations, Pete committed to completing a full audit of the Pentagon and selecting a senior official who will uphold the roles and value of our servicemen and women based on quality and standards, not quotas, and who will prioritize and strengthen my work to prevent sexual assault within the ranks. As I support Pete through this process, I look forward to a fair hearing based on truth, not anonymous sources. Okay? So this is what Mediaite is talking about, courtesy of Politico. Okay? Politico is the one who did the original reporting on this. Team Trump got Joni Ernst to support Pete Hegseth by making, quote, life extremely uncomfortable, end quote. she, quote, got the message loud and clear. Senator Joni Ernst, Republican of Iowa, said she would support Pete Hegseth on Monday, just a few days after she had said she was not yet a yes on his nomination. According to a report from Politico, Ernst's change of heart came after a pressure campaign from allies of Donald Trump that made her life, quote, life extremely uncomfortable. Last Thursday, after a meeting with Hegseth, who's been accused of sexual assault and alcohol abuse, Ernst, a veteran and sexual assault survivor, told Fox News' Bill Hemmer that she was undecided on his nomination. Quote, I think for a number of our senators, they want to make sure any allegations have been cleared, and that's why we have to have a very thorough vetting process. On Monday, after another meeting with Hegseth, she changed her tune in a statement we just read. Politico suggests that her shift was the product of more than just the pair's meeting, though. Quote, this is from Politico. In recent days, allies of Trump adopted an approach that is not novel for the president-elect and his followers, make life extremely uncomfortable for anyone who dares to oppose him. The swarm of MAGA attacks that Ernst had experienced is a warning of what's in store for others who express skepticism of his personnel choices. Days after signaling she continued to have serious concerns about confirming Hegseth, Ernst said on Monday sounded a different note. Okay, and again, we discussed that. The change in tune followed an aggressive push for Hegseth by top Trump allies and supporters, as well as a defiant performance by the defense secretary nominee that has Trump's team bullish on him getting confirmed. But it's not just Hegseth. Trump allies believe his choice to lead the FBI, Kash Patel, and his nominee for Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, are in a stronger position as well. One Trump ally told the outlet, Politico, that, quote, Joni, I'm told, got the message loud and clear after, quote, receiving an onslaught of criticism from MAGA activists. It's also being reported that Elon Musk will spend money, a lot of money, on primarying any Republican who does not enthusiastically and full-throatedly support Donald Trump's agenda, including his nominees. So, seems to be at least circumstantial evidence that the public and private pressure campaign from top Trump allies and Fox News hosts like Mark Levin and others gotten through and have forced Joni Ernst to bend the knee. I don't know if that's going to manifest itself in a vote. It's entirely possible that she finds her backbone and that Lindsey Graham or Mitch McConnell or whoever else, because again, he can only afford to lose three or four votes. But it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. The Republican Party doesn't do much by way of dissent. It really doesn't permit it. And I can't imagine that this MAGA Republican Party is going to be more inclined to support Donald Trump or to be a meaningful brake check against Donald Trump now than they ever were. There seems like the reasons to do so are even fewer, and the consequences for defying him much more severe. Food for thought. I think it's still entirely possible that we get a Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who is wildly unqualified for the position, a decorated combat veteran, yes, but someone with no leadership or administrative experience with respect to the military, somebody who reportedly mismanaged his veterans nonprofit, somebody who has been credibly accused of sexual assault and substance abuse issues in the form of alcohol. I think that Trump should probably get somebody more qualified. Qualifications are something he regards as a threat. He wants a telegenic dupe, and that's why he has settled on Pete Hegseth. And unfortunately, it seems that the United States Senate is at least pretty disposed towards granting him that request. That's where we are. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.